Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of In Conversation. My name is Mpiletso from the Strategic Communications Department, and today I'm joined by researchers from the Department of Physics. I'll be chatting to them about their day-to-day life and everything we need to know about physics in today's environment. Welcome, ladies, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for welcoming us.
By way of introduction, let's maybe go across the table and you guys can introduce yourselves to our audience and let them know who you are and what it is that you do within the physics department. I'll start here with my lady in green.
All right, well, my name is Mpiletso. I am the PhD student at UJ, based in the BA in the DFC campus, the Donfontein campus. I am hailing all the way from the Eastern Cape, specifically in East London, in Danzane.
Yes.
Yes, that's basically what I am. And at UJ, I am an academic. In fact, I am doing my PhD, NQ Level 10, and I'm also working as an assistant lecturer within the Department of Physics.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. Okay. Then, of course, we have Prof. Bui,
Yeah.
who's joining us again this week.
Thanks again for having me and for the opportunity. As you've said, I'm Professor Bui Sondezi. I am the current head of department of the physics, which is the department that is spread over 2 campuses, APK and also DFC. What I do is a bit odd or awkward at this point in time because it's a mix of management, teaching and research. So I can't even pin down exactly what is it that I do on a day-to-day basis, except that I need to ensure that none of my balls fall, particularly in the department.
Yes.
You've asked us to mention where we come from. I'm just a girl from KZN. I grew up in a farm between Dundee and Newcastle. You could just say that's a region between Dundee and Newcastle and in Danhauser. That's where I did my schooling, even the high school. And I came to Johannesburg because I was seeking for higher education. And I got here, landed in a college of education after failing to enter into the medical school because my marks or APS at that time was not good enough to land me into a medical school. Then I started a diploma in education, of which I didn't finish because I didn't like it. I still wanted to be a doctor because I inspired to be the first doctor who will find a cure for HIV and AIDS. Then that was still at the back of my mind, and then that's why I left that diploma. And then I pursued some kind of a BSc that I thought was going to take me closer to where I wanted to be. Unfortunately, again, I couldn't succeed. And then I said, you know what, let me just stop everything and then enroll for a pure BSc. And the pure BSc where I measured with physics, chemistry and statistics. And then when I finished in record time, that's when I embarked on an honors in physics. There were a lot of reasons and inspirations that took me into an honors in physics, one of which was the mentor that I had, who was my lecturer, whom I regard as my mentor and the role model, Professor Winkler. But also the other reason that landed me to physics is that I wanted to prove that this subject can be done by women because there were a lot of perceptions that women cannot study physics, they cannot understand physics. And I was like, you know what, I just want to prove that it can be done. Even if your background tells that maybe you don't have enough infrastructure, you didn't have enough infrastructure, enough content, but that drive to me that I want to prove that it can be done, as difficult as it is, I'll do it. So, which landed me into doing honors, masters, and eventually PhD. And the rest is future history, if I may say, just to explain how did I get from being a miss into a doctor, then a professor, and then a head of department. I think it's a conversation of another day. But that's who I am.
Yes.
Yeah,
in a nutshell. All right, thank you. And for you?
Okay, me, I'm Redris Njumesi. Oh, sorry, I'm Dr. Redris Njumesi. I'm still getting used to the name now.
I understand. Newly appointed doctor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fresh from the box as of yesterday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm actually Cameroonian, and I arrived in Johannesburg, I think, end of 2015 to start my master's in physics. And then I completed the master's, and then I enrolled into the PhD, which I just completed, and luckily I got a temporary lecturing position in the department, and I'm very grateful actually, and I have to say thank you. Thank you, because I'm taking that opportunity to say thank you to you for all the support and everything, and then I will look at South Africa as a chance that I never thought I would have actually, because in Cameroon I was doing university just to do, as we usually say, like you go to first year, you go to second year, you don't see yourself actually. You just know that, okay, I have to get my bachelor. But after the bachelor, that's when I started thinking like, okay, what is that I really want to do? And then that's when the opportunity to come to South Africa came. And then I didn't even think twice. I was like, you know what, let me just go. I don't want to know what will happen, but I'm sure it will be better than where I am now. So that's when I arrived, and then I really had the chance to be in a friendly environment that made me actually to complete my master's and want to just continue with a PhD and get the degree. Yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
And finally,
Okay. I was so inspired about the conversation. I wanted to actually continue listening to you when you're talking. Okay. My name is Cindy Siwe Kagaza. Also from, I'll call her Mkaya. That's the language we actually use. She's my Mkaya.
Yes.
I'm from Fried. Fried is very close to Newcastle.
Okay.
And then I grew up in a very small town, probably a village, because I'm from the D village in Emadresini, but as part of Emondlo. And then I never had an inspiration to do science, actually, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, it's like we were forced to go to school. So like going to school because we had to go to school, everyone's going to school. But then after completing my matric, I didn't do well, actually, because on my matric certificate right now, I have level 2. But then right now I'm enrolling. I'm actually a PhD candidate at the University of Johannesburg, imagine. But then it actually goes a long way of inspiration behind where I am right now, because I was truly inspired by a lot of people along the way. And then luckily I got an opportunity to go to University of not University of Johannesburg, but rather University of Zululand. Let me put it like that. University of Zululand. And then I started a foundation program. So we also have something similar to that also at UJ, of which I feel like is actually helping a lot of students to discover who they want to be in the near future. And then after that, I was like, okay, now I have a BSc, what's next? And then luckily there was an opportunity to actually join Menas Mesai at UWC. So I was like, okay, if they have fundings and then I won't be starving, then why not study? Because I'll be sitting at home waiting for that call that probably they say graduate programs and Nakona, you're not even sure that they're going to absorb us or not. So I was like, okay, let me just get an opportunity and go there. When I joined UWC Menas Mesai program, and then this lovely lady, Professor Daisy, she came to recruit some of us because we were in honors level, because they were looking for masters and PhD candidates. And then when she came, I was truly inspired, because honestly, I would say I'm here because of her, and she truly inspires me each and every day. And the way she speaks, you can actually tell, because she speaks naturally, is from within. So when she was speaking there, when we were having conversations, I was like, okay, this lady is saying that she's the only woman in Africa who obtained a PhD. I'm like, if she's a first, that means I can be the second. Not knowing that there was already readiness on the way, because it was in 2015 when she actually arrived. She arrived later. And then I was already at UWC sometime around October, I think, when they came to actually recruit us. And I was like, okay, sharp, I'm going to be the second lady then. I'm going to join UJ, great. And then when I joined, I find this lovely lady, of which it was a warm environment. So from different institutions that I've been, BH, Zululand, University of Western Cape, and UJ, the Felix family has been amazing. They've been so welcoming, and I always feel at home. And hence probably that's why I've been here at UJ for like probably 7 years now, because they are so friendly. And as he has mentioned, that the environment makes you want to actually stay more, and the kind of opportunity they give you as well. So it actually inspires us to actually say, okay, I can actually build a future here. I can actually see my future reimagined. Exactly. Thank you so much.
No, wonderful.
Well, before you go to the other the line of our talk, you know, when you were speaking, Prof, something came to my mind that your journey was a bit similar with mine, because I am coming from a township. It's not small, it's big, it's vibrant, there's a lot going on, but not the positive things of going to school and everything, all that. So I was like, okay, when I went to high school, that is went to got to a stage where you need to select that I am taking these majors in
Yes.
a grade 10.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yes.
okay, everyone was running away from physics, maths and physics. So I was like, why are they running away? Like, there is this stigma that maths and physics are very hard.
Yeah.
You'll fail or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me take this head on. Let me prove it wrong. Because obviously someone
Yes.
invented it. We believe that it's actually doable. So I
Yes.
did it. And I had a dream. In fact, even at home, they saw a doctor in me.
Yeah.
So I had this mentality, okay, I want to do MPCHB in tertiary. I did well my metric, level 7 maths and physics, but somehow God will align you with what you're supposed to follow.
Absolutely.
I didn't get to medical school, was always placed on waiting list. And then after that, someone said, okay, no, it's fine if you cannot get your foot in the medical field as yet, do your BSc so that you can
get closer.
Yeah, you can get closer to what
Yeah.
you're looking for. So in my second year, I realized that
Yeah.
no, man, the modules that align with BSc, they're not exciting me. I'm actually more intrigued with following maths and physics.
Yeah.
So I took the pure maths and physical sciences as my majors for my BSc. Then after that, I was like, okay, I'm probably hungry right now. I want to work somewhere. Let me just take PGCE. The education thing is that teaching English, yes. So I took the PG. In fact, I couldn't because my lecturers, they said, do not take this one. We want her to do the postgraduate studies. So I did my honors. After that, I was crying. I told them that at home I need to do a lot of things. I need to work. Then I'll come back for postgrad. But they didn't understand it at the time. I think they saw something that I was not seeing at the time.
Yeah.
Did my honors. After that, after the honors, I went to Joburg. I went to Wits. I was following a bag at Wits.
Yeah.
And then after that, after the MSc, as I was waiting, I was like, let me have this education thing because I've always had a passion of teaching and learning. I used to always in holidays I'll go back home in the high school in school in high school, they know me. I'll go and ask, I want to tutor maths and physics.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. So when after the MSc doing the PGC, I knew I went to industry. I've been lost in the way. Went to industry. In fact, I think I was evaluating what I actually really like. As much as I knew that teaching and learning, it's something that I enjoy doing. So went to industry, worked. I was like, this is not me. Sitting in the lab and no talking.
No people,
No people, no talking. It's you in samples or it's instruments in yourself. So I was like, no man, let me just go back and do my PhD. And then luckily enough, UJ granted me with an opportunity to work as a teacher and also do my PhD. So yeah.
So you're enjoying the best of both.
The best of both worlds. Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking from that, you guys are now working as researchers and also teaching. How has the transition been from being a student to being in the space that you're in right now? How's that transition and how are the environments now for you guys?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for me. No, it wasn't easy actually, because when I started transitioning, it was a slow progress into transitioning to becoming a temp lecturer, as I am at the moment. Because I started as being a tutor when I first joined UJ in 2016, and then being a tutor, it actually inspired me because I was able to engage with the first years, and then luckily I actually got to engage with these students who are in the same program that I was in also when I first joined the institution, of which is an excellent program at UJ, but where I come from, as a foundation program. So you get to engage with them and then try to inspire them. And then as you inspire them more, we realize that, okay, I can actually be a good teacher probably at some point, even though I don't have... I'm not sure if there's a case whereby you go and actually get prepared to be a lecturer, except for being a teacher. I'm not sure, but then I think they actually see...
Yeah, I think because some colleges, they do have that certificate where you go and get trained to be a lecturer.
Okay. So at UJ, so I guess we are lucky because we get to be trained in the tutor's level, and then as you move forward, then you become they see potential in you, and then they actually become a teacher. So I won't lie, it's difficult actually having to teach and having to do research because teaching takes a lot of time. And then once you try to say, okay, probably after 8, I'm going to be looking at my research, you're tired already. And there are some, UJ is 4IR, so we are also on WhatsApp, we are also on email, so you're sending WhatsApp, you have to discipline them on WhatsApp. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
But we try to balance. I can never say that I actually have found balance between the two, but I'm actually trying to manage. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And for you, please?
Yeah, I think I have pretty a similar transition with her because when I started the masters, I immediately started also with the tutoring and being demonstrator in the laboratory. And I think when you are in that environment, actually you already get used to students.
Yeah.
You already see their behavior, and you already know what you will look like as a teacher. Like, okay, if I have to teach, I already know how to manage this and that. And I think also the lecturer for who you tutor really helps you a lot also.
Okay.
Because you tend to look at them like, okay, how does she perform with the student? How does she treat the student? Then that's actually what helped me a lot, because I was looking at her. I think she was the first one to appoint me as a DME first. And then later I worked with Susan, and I also worked with other lecturers I really enjoy each and every experience. Just by doing that, I was like, no, I think if I'm a lecturer tomorrow, I know I've made it. Not only one of the dream, not all of them, but I think one of them would be just to be a lecturer. And even if I have to do my own research to progress, I think that's one of the goals actually. And there's something particular about, like, maybe a student say, thank you, you helped me for this, you did that. Like, you really have that feeling that you're doing something valuable in your life. So I think that's one of the things.
And it's actually amazing when they come back to you and say, ma'am, when we actually walk on campus, some of them come in and hug me like, ma'am, you tutored me. I'm like, when was that? I'm like, I'm doing my PhD. That means I've been here for a very long time. If you're doing it's actually heartwarming to actually see them actually saying that you actually played a very great impact in my life, and I appreciate you for doing that. It actually inspires us to even do more and do more changes in other people's life as well as we move forward.
Definitely. I mean, the impact is valuable, because it may be just one of you, but because it's a lot of them, they remember you specifically. So it's important. It's very important to be a positive role model in that sense. And for you, Aya?
For myself, as much as I had been exposed to teaching and learning in high school, because at the same time when you're completing the certificate, you have to be placed in high schools where you do your trainings and everything. So one will say it was easy when I get to UJ, but it was not the case, because now you are in a higher institute, and you are anxious about the journey. You've never been a lecturer before. You only had been in the receiving end. Now you have to be the one who's actually doing it. So it was, for me, it was a bit hectic, but the colleagues that I work with DFC, they were very much supporting. That is in terms of showing me the ropes, showing me which doors to knock, and also materials. In fact, they never even waited for me to go and consult to them. Some would come and like, okay, this is what you do when you want to do A, B, and C. So it's been a journey to a point that my supervisor was complaining, because I was struggling with the balance. I was always holding the fort and teaching and learning. But this year, at least, I'm starting now to actually also spend more time with my research, because I feel like, no, I'm a bit content, because at the time last year, I was all about being, ma'am. Always about being, having my things, submitting things online and all that thing is, it was a bit challenging, but we managed.
But you managed. And for you, Prof, I wanted to also find out.
Yes, I think I had the almost similar experience, but a bit, I would like to add something on that.
Okay.
When I started, because I also started as a tutor, you have this hunger that I want to do something, and I'm waiting for an opportunity to make an impact. And you look forward for a position that will say you're either an assistant lecturer or you're a lecturer. So while you do your research, there's this at the back of your mind, I want to do it. But now once you get there and they have appointed you, then the fight comes between what you have been appointed for and what you've enrolled for. Now you're enrolled as a PhD student or a master's student, and you're looking forward to being a lecturer. Because the other reason that we must not shy away from is the reason of lack and funding that every student, especially at the postgrad level, will need to have. Even if you can say, I want to focus on my studies, but financial issues are a reality. So each student will say, I wish they could appoint me as a tutor or a lecturer. So you always desire, I know that these students always desire to be appointed. But now once they need to fight against the demands of the work and also the demands of the supervisor, which is where the problem comes in. And at the end of the day, the study period elongates, not because students want to stay longer in in the program, but because there are demands that are an issue when it comes to the balance.
Yeah.
But every student wants to do something in the department because they see themselves having an impact on other generation or on other students that they see themselves at. Remember, when every student comes in, you see yourself in those students. I was once there, and I wish I could do something and bring light to the students. So that balance, I think it's what makes all of us take longer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not that you don't want to do it. I want to do it, but I wish I could get something to assist with that.
Exactly.
So to bring the issue of training into teaching, we don't have that formal training, but there are tutors. There are mentors, people who will be teaching with you or that you'll co-teach with. That's a person that you learn from.
Yeah.
And I think the importance of getting a person like that is very critical, because your mentor becomes you at the end of the day.
Yes.
You learn most of the things from that person, and you also do things the way he does. So I think for me as a head of department, I'm learning something new here, that if we assign assistant lecturers to people, we must be sure that the people we assign a mentorship to are people that are doing the job, because we copy what we see.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
if you're going to produce a certain caliber of lecturers, you must also give a certain caliber of mentors.
Exactly.
true.
Absolutely. Sure. It must match. It must
Yeah,
definitely. So how would you guys describe a typical day in your life as a researcher? When you come to work, sit, what is it that you guys are doing? Aya, let's start with you.
All right. Typical day. Coming back to balancing things and whatever in detail.
Yes.
We had drawn out schedules, or rather you may call it timetable, that we also shared with the students, where you set time apart for teaching and learning, that is you going to class and also attending to student extra classes or consultations hours. And then you also set apart time slots where you just write if it's research day.
Yes.
Where they know that if I see this in the dawn, then I cannot know if it's a
Cannot.
research day. Yes. So you really have to instill that discipline to them, and also yourself as well. That, okay, you know what, today I'm really not going to touch teaching and learning if it's research day, something like that. So it's a struggle. Because sometimes you know that I'm supposed to do this, but there's a singing boat, somewhere that you need to actually tend to. And also, on a typical day as a researcher, it's you locking the office or going to the library, where you research, you go online, you play around with going back to literature, trying to read and everything, depending on where or in the stage of your writing or of your project as well. And having meetings with your supervisors or meetings with other people that you meet on these gatherings for the postgraduate gatherings, such as the school of whatever. So we always try to make connections so that you have people to meet, you have people to consult. So it's really hectic from being a master in class or whatever, and then you have to go back and it's really, you have to be flexible around these things. Yeah. So it's really hectic. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And for you, Retris?
I think it's pretty similar. Like just having to leave your house in the morning and plan in advance. I think one of the key for me is to always have a look ahead of what I'll be doing the whole week. Like once I know what I'll be doing and what is expected from me, I mean, from the weekend, I know what is expected from the next week. Then I go to school, and I usually do not take breakfast at home. Like I prefer to reach the campus and then see how my day will look like before I say, okay, I can eat maybe at 10 or 12 or things like that. And I really, for now, I really put priority into the lecturing section first, because I wanted to rest a little bit from research. Like even if it's, I cannot disconnect myself completely from research, but I just wanted to rest a little bit, and I took that opportunity to actually invest myself more into the lecturing position. But then I already also try to see how I will be balancing both. Like, okay, how many time can I spend in the lab? How can I handle the student? Must I do like, oh, please just come and knock the door anytime, or should I set a schedule? Things like that. So I'm still analyzing them,
Trying to
analyzing
find balance.
myself, and try
Yeah.
to find the good balance between the two. But I think I really have good expectation about that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And for you?
Typical day for me, day to day, is waking up and checking my emails to see if there is prostradom on the emails. If there is, then I need to take a deep breath and then read the email. I remember when I first joined UJ, it was in 2016, when I used to see emails from prostradom, my stomach would actually rush because I was so scared of him. Yeah. I was so scared of him because I was like, I need to get things done in good order. I think I got to a point whereby I put myself in a position where I was like, I need to be better and be like them. And that's when they actually, because Prof. Sundays was my co-supervisor, that's when she was like, you don't have to actually put yourself in a position where you think that you are like us. You won't be like us. They've been in this industry for a very long time, and I can't be thinking like them. So it's okay, to actually to have some faults along the way.
Yes,
And I've gained my balance in doing experiments in the lab independently, and then obviously we're working as a team in our lab. And then right now I can actually say, whenever I actually get to the lab, first thing first, light the office so that the boss can see that we are there. Of course, because if the lights are off, it means okay. It's 10 o'clock now. They're not here. What's happening? So go to the lab and then check if everything is in order. First thing first, because I'm assisting Prof. Stradom also in the lab, so I need to check if every machine is running in a good order. And then I also help him run some external project and also with our own project in the lab for my PhD. And then there's a sign, Mpiletso and I are actually showing the office. There's a sign on our door says, knock and enter. Yes. People tend to actually knock and wait for us to say enter. It always irritates me, like, it says knock and enter. Because sometimes when people
wait for coming.
You don't wait for coming. Just knock and enter.
I think you must add that to the post. Don't wait for coming.
Don't wait. Yeah, I think so. I think we should actually add that because honestly, we can't say I'm going to spend my entire day in my room trying to focus on research, or rather spend my entire day in an office focusing on research, because you'll always be having students coming in, invited or uninvited, they'll always be coming in. And our first priority, since we're in the office, we're supposed to attend to students. And then the research, that's where she was saying that as much as we need to actually get our PhDs, we also need to actually have something on the table, right? And it's difficult, I won't lie to you. And hence probably some of us, we take forever to actually try and finish because it's very hard to balance the two. But otherwise, the day-to-day basis is just having students coming to your office whenever they want to come, and then also having your boss also coming and say, what's happening with this measurement? Are you done with this one? So yeah, that's my typical day. Every day. And then sometimes we actually have meetings since we are in different transformations within an institution, and then or different teams. So we actually meet up in a department. We are very serious about meeting because we meet each and every month. The boss will tell you. We need to actually keep up with the progress that every month we report. What have you done? So Aya and I are actually on the transformation champions representing the department. So we have to find ways to actually try and make our environment more interactive and then more flexible for everyone to feel more comfortable around them. So yeah.
All right. And obviously you guys are in STEM, and STEM is often seen as more of a male sort of field. So as women in this field and as researchers, do you feel like maybe you guys face different challenges to what men are sort of facing? Because I mean, they also have their own challenges, but for you guys as women in STEM, in physics, what sort of challenges are there for you guys? If at all.
Okay, for me, I won't lie to you. Let me just be honest with you. I won't say I actually faced any kind of challenges. Reason why, there were people before me who actually paved the way and they made things easy for us. I would say, I'm also proud to say this again. Professor Ndezi paved the way for us, and she had to go through the hardship for us to actually have an easier route when we actually are moving towards having our PhDs and our masters. So for me, it wasn't easy. I remember in 2015 when we graduated for BSc in mathematics and physics, I was the only female, and I was actually excited whenever my maths lecturer used to come in class and say, "Madam, I know I'm the only madam in class." And actually, I was like, okay, I'm the only female here. I actually got inspired. So when I got to a level whereby we also had a female who was form of a leader who went through so much hardship and then opened the ways to actually to become more easier for us. I was like, I'm proud of following her journey because she made things easier for us. I think not only her, because she'll also say that there are people before her that made things easier for her. So I think the more we actually joined this STEM, the more we made it easier for people who are coming after us.
Professor Ndezi, why was it so important for you to sort of pay it forward for other women as well in this field?
You know, for me, it was a challenge to finish up my degree. Let me say this, particularly a PhD. And some of the challenges could have been avoided if other people knew about them. And for me to make it easier for those who were coming after me was my priority, because I knew the difficulty that I went through, and I knew that if people would be weaker than me, that means they won't be able to finish. And what added to my challenges is that I was already having a family. Hence, I'm thinking maybe their challenge might be different from mine. But at the end of the day, what they would experience will still be as painful, because pain is pain. It does not say that you are married or not married, you have a family or not a family. So whatever I managed to contain then gave me a stamina that I would work against it in ensuring that these ones who are coming after me don't go through it. Because if they could go through the same magnitude that I went through, most of them couldn't have finished. Because in the middle of everything, there is rejection, there is a loneliness, although people are around you, but you still feel lonely. Because you feel like they don't identify with what you're going through, because our cases and our environment are not the same. You come from a different home setting, myself, yours. At the end of the day, that adds to how you experience life when you come to the university level, whereby the university expects you to behave in a certain manner, and where you come from does not allow you to behave in that manner.
Yes.
So if there could be a standardized approach or a way that students who come can follow, it becomes easier. So one of the things that I have all the time is that I need to make a difference where I am. Even if I don't benefit from what they will benefit, but I would have done my part if somebody would say, I managed to get to where I wanted to be by the help of this person. Because I think you need to look at the bigger picture of why we're here. So impacting the next generation through our experiences, through our word, through our resources as well, because we even give when we need to give what we have to give. So just to finalize this segment, most of the challenges are experienced by people who are already established families. So I think for them it might be lighter in terms of experiencing the challenges. The only challenge they have is the academic challenge. But if you have to balance the family life, the work life, and the research life, then you have three of things that you must be able to manage. And I would say then that's when you could start seeing that, I need someone to help me, I need a mentor, I need a supporter, I need someone who will speak for me. Sometimes if you become speechless, some of the things you cannot speak because people will not relate to what you are saying. But if I'm here, they can talk to me, and then I can be able to interpret it in a better way to those who are in management. So I found myself becoming a bridge for where they come and to where they're going. And I think things are getting a bit better. And I think I must say, don't get married before you finish.
This is important.
That's a good advice. I also do that.
Look at that.
So some of the things will be calling you back home and you say, but I have to bring the lab. I remember in my case, I had to bring my kids in the lab. 12 o'clock at night, the measurement is finishing and I must start. And that time, Professor was very, very strict. He didn't allow the instrument to remain idle, not doing anything. So if it finished at 12, so somebody must be there fiddling with something.
My goodness.
That at least I was there, even if I couldn't finish, but I was there, So you bring the kids there, they sleep in the office while you do your work. And if you have a family member who does not understand, family breaks sometimes in PhD studies. And other people crack during that process. Others get depression. There are those cases that are there.
Sure.
Probably if there were challenges as a woman trying to build a career in this, it's probably then. And I like it when you guys we expose it, that it's because they're actually women that had paved the way for us, because we're really not feeling it. If you talk of bursaries, there are fundings that some are even specifically for females. And what's this? Even today, we're about to celebrate the post Women's Day celebration with
Women in physics in South Africa.
So it's actually acknowledged. It's out there. We're really not feeling the pressure of that. Okay, we are in a male-dominated. In fact, that's just the name. We're there.
We're there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. I'm sure you also share the same sentiments, Reggie. So
Yeah, it's pretty the same. And I think at home, when I say home, I mean Cameroon. I didn't have that feeling, that specific feeling about having less women or more men when it comes to physics or mathematics. In school, guys, I mean in high school, they want to intimidate you.
yes,
Like they want to have the best mark because they guys.
Yes.
That is what the feeling I had. Like whenever I had one teacher in mathematics, he used to arrange our script. Like he put the smallest mark and then he goes to the top. So he starts from the bottom and then he goes up. So whenever he's reading your marks, you're not happy because you know, this is I was in the bottom. So he was doing that, and then whenever a guy get his script, he get upset not because of his mark, but because you haven't got yours.
Oh yeah.
And one day they really get upset. Like one of them told me that, but no, what are you even doing here? I mean, you're good in English, you're good in French, you're good in literature. Go and do literature, leave this math for us. Now you're even getting the best mark in mathematics now. Then I was telling him like, no, you said it all. I mean, good in all of that. So I don't know why I should go and choose literature instead of, you can also go there. So I think guys they tend to intimidate us, but then in university the story was a bit different because now we kind of mixed up, and then I really didn't have that feeling like something is being done for women. I think even at home my father did that job of telling me there is no difference between you and your brother. I mean, I pay the same school fees, I do the same for both of you, so there is no way you'll tell me you won't be good at math or physics because you're a lady or whatever. And then I think I'm even the only one who did pure science at home. Others, they did biology and everything. So I really grew up with that mentality, like I don't see myself being different because I'm a lady or I'm a woman. So when I arrive in university now, I can't say I had woman model. It was really men. And I was quite also lucky that they were not making a difference whether you're a lady or a boy or whatever. No, they really didn't make it. And actually the people who performed well or better, they were lady. I mean, in the class, whenever we get our script, we always see like, okay, the top 3 achievers, there will be 2 ladies among the 3 first, things like that. So I really grew up with that. And then when I arrived in South Africa, I didn't feel like it was different, but I just felt like things are being done to get more women into the thing. And that's actually, I was quite happy about that. But then I was also like, I think whenever we do that, we need to include the men also, because they may feel like we're setting them apart. I remember when I got my bursary, the guy that was next to me, he said, I got it because I was a lady. Then I told him, why are you saying it's because I was a lady? Whenever they're checking our documents, so you really think I don't deserve, or my marks were not good enough, or what? He said, no, if I was a lady, I would have got that also. Then I said, oh, only God knows now. I don't know. He cannot answer you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the story went like that, and for my transition, like I had the opportunity to attend a conference outside, and I got a little bit frustrated, not because I was happy to be there, but I was quite sad to be the only black face in the whole thing. And that day they asked, like, please submit your questions online. And then I submitted a question related to having more black people, I didn't make the difference between being black or, I just said black people in those international committee. And then they read that question loud in the room. And then I had that feeling everybody knows I'm the one who asked that question. For the simple reason that I ended up being I didn't know I would have been the only black face in the room. And then when they mentioned that thing, the question, the panel, they actually answered the question, but it was really like, we don't know. We don't know why it is like that. We don't get more people from Africa. We don't get more women. Okay. The whole panel was white. The whole room was white. And ladies were even less than men. So I started to understand that the struggle is not even at the African level. I think it's the international level.
Yes.
Even if we do our effort here to actually get more women, we should also try to do our own thing. And if we cannot be more represented there, I think we can do our own here. Let us do our own international conference here and let them come here. Maybe we'll see a difference, like we tend to have more black
representatives.
Definitely.
Also women. And I really think the less we will tend to things, we're not under men in any aspect.
Yes.
And I don't want to be like too pretentious or pretend or whatever, but I really feel like we're even better. Because the way we ended up handling the kitchen, you see, you handle the kids, you handle everything, and you even mentioned the case of having a family. And I really think the struggle even comes from the small relationship. I mean, you're having a boyfriend, and that he expects you to cook for him, for instance. What happened if I cook from Monday to Tuesday to Friday, and then on Saturday I'm so tired? Then it becomes like you have to do that.
Exactly.
But then their struggle is to go once they are done with school, even if they're scientific like us, once they're done to school and they go back, they rest. But once you reach the house, you need to, what are we going to eat?
Exactly. It's another job altogether.
This is another job. So that's why I really think we should just stop making a difference. In the same way we are investing ourselves in everything as a woman, men should also try to invest themselves into everything. I mean, if you are with a woman, just try to make her life easier. If she can't cook that day, you can also do that. Why not? So that's my feeling. And if we stop making a huge difference between our gender, I think things will actually get better.
All right.
I'm sorry to do this. When you were speaking about that your father used to mention that what
he does the same for all of us.
You reminded me of my late father, Mendo Nkonki. Well, my father gave me this thingy of when I was growing. In fact, he used to speak words where he'll be like, when you go to school, make sure that you leave no stone unturned, and being female does not restrict you to do something that a boy can do. So and to a point that now that I'm grown, I always say that if you have a baby or you have a child with whoever, whether the relationship does not work or whatever, just make sure that you're present for your child or for your whatever. Make sure that you're present and make sure that you see the greatness in them. And you one of the differences that I've actually observed that, with white people, not that I'm being racist or whatever, when it's these games, even swimming for an example, whether the kid is winning or not, but you'll see the parents, they are clapping their hands, they are standing up on their feet, and they do well at school. And in our black communities, we find that if you fail something, you're even scared to go home. And that's really not the case. So if you're lucky by being blessed with a kid or whatever, just make sure, because what we do, for the mere thing that you guys see me here today is because someone told me that you can actually do it. You doesn't have to be. You understand me?
Absolutely.
It can be restricted because I'm female or whatever. And now we're here. We're trying to prove that.
A positive environment is essential. And for our final question, just to word of advice, basically, to undergraduates who also want to build careers in physics. What's your word of advice to them?
Mine. I'm so sorry again. I always have to apologize because everything I say, I reflect back to my the person that actually inspires me each and every day, which is Professor Amazing. She was interviewed sometime this year in April. And then she was interviewed about her position, that now she was a doctor last year. She was in no position in being any of the committees, probably deputy, whatever. And then in the beginning of the year, she was a deputy HOD. And then later on, she was an HOD. And then she was asked, how is she doing all these things? she said, you have to position yourself. You have to position yourself. That means you have to equip yourself and then position yourself. So I think it goes the same with every one of us. They didn't just choose us that, okay, I think you look cute, you're going to be an assistant lecturer. I think you're okay. So we had to position ourselves in a good way that whenever an opportunity comes, and then we have to grab it. Right.
Yes.
So to them also back at home, whoever is actually watching this video, they have to position themselves. They have to equip themselves enough that whenever there's an opportunity coming towards them, they can actually be easily grabbed because they are well equipped.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Wow.
Redris, final words? Dr. Redris.
Okay, one of the thing actually for me is that the first thing when you want to look at physics, you need to understand that physics is part of our life. There is no single room where we cannot mention one or two things that are being done thanks to physics. So once we understand that, and that's actually what I like to do in class, like I always try to link whatever we are teaching or I'm teaching to whatever we do. Like I remember one of the things I was explaining to them, and then I said, when I finished, and then I said, this is how the microwave works. And all of us use a microwave, but then now you understand why you're getting that thing being hot even if you don't have a fire inside. So that is one of the things I like to do and try to simplify things. I think usually we are scared of math and physics not because it's hard, but because of how we were being taught. Like sometimes people make things difficult. They want to put a huge equation that starts at the beginning, finish at the end to show you that they're doing hard things. But that's not really what I think we should transmit the physics or mathematics in general. So whenever you try to simplify, show them the simplified version and tell them, okay, this is how we can improve a little bit. This is how we can go deeper into the understanding. So this is one of the approach I use. And then whenever you have a discussion with the student, once they understand how they can link that physics to any other thing, I usually tell them, you can be a physicist and tomorrow you work at the bank. You can be a physicist and tomorrow you do something completely different. But you always find the use of that physics you have done. And also the second thing is to never be scared about anything. I think that is one of the things that has helped me. I really do not like when I go and ask, one day I asked someone to show me a software, then he told me, no, you can't. This is too hard. Then I was like, but how did you learn it? He said, no, it took me time. And I said, okay, start from the beginning. I mean, show me the first step. Let me go and see.
For myself.
Do not tell me it's hard, I can't. Tell me you can't, you don't want to show me. I will understand better than telling me it's hard, I can't. You can't, because how did you learn it?
Exactly.
So once I set in my mind, nothing is hard enough. Let me try and decide whether it is hard for me or not. So this is one of the philosophy that I actually use and I try to tell to the student. Like sometimes they come with that idea of your physics. They always say that, but whenever you finish and then you say, okay, what did you learn? Is it as difficult as you thought? No, it's not. It's just because you see the story start changing. So I think we just need to demystify the physics for them, for the student. And second thing, tell them do not be scared about anything. Once you demystify and you're not scared, I think you can go as far as possible.
Wonderful stuff, sure. And for you, Aya?
Oh, God. Okay, let me quickly get back to you. There's a lot that's happening in my mind. I'm trying to think while they were speaking. If there's a young lady that actually wants to do or think of doing physics, I would advise him or her in fact, because we're talking about ladies or just any undergrad, him or her. It's very important to have or even ask that internal drive. Or if I may say, the hunger to succeed, because let me assure you, the journey has its up and downs. There's so many other people that we started schooling together, even from university. I remember when I was doing my honors, I was the only girl. There were males around, and we were quite a number. But when I look now, Some others, they're at home. Some others didn't even finish their MSc. Some others, they branched out or whatever. So all I'm trying to say is that I realized that one of the things is that you need to have that internal man that actually tells you that even if it gets hard or whatever, keep on pushing. And it actually tells you that it makes you alert of different channels and everything, because when you are having this thing internally, when you try this and it's not working, then something else is bound to actually happen or open a door for you. And you don't even wait for someone to pat you that you can do this. Just because this thing is coming from yourself, you're always out there trying to find ways where you can make it work. Otherwise, it really gets hectic. And not that we're lucky or not that it's been easy, but if you wanna make it, you really need to have that that I want to do this. In fact, since I wanted to be a doctor, I knew that I need the title doctor. If I can't do it in medicine, at the end I'll be a doctor of you see, you understand me? So it's really
push all the way. All right,
get it one way or the other.
Can I mention something quickly?
Yeah.
Just quickly, because it just came in my mind as she was talking, and I think we sometimes we tend to underestimate the power of mentorship, because sometimes I was working alone when I started my first year, second year, third year, when I was not going fast. I didn't have any direction. And I think I started to have a direction when I started to being mentored by people. I may not call them mentor, or they may not call me mentee, but I know they're playing the role of a mentor in my life, or I'm their mentee. And the simple way that they're asking you, how are you? Are you fine? Are you getting better? Do you know you can always come to talk to me if you need help or anything? So I think that really made an impact in my studies. And she was one of them, actually. And she's not doing that only in the work level, even in your personal life, like when you're going through some issues, like just to talk, like, how are you? Are you getting better? Sometimes they do that and they do not know the power of what they're doing. I remember when I was struggling with the PhD, sometimes you just get emotional for nothing. Like it's not like for nothing. Anything can make you cry because you have that pain that you need to take it out. And then just because someone is saying something, you start thinking about your own struggle, you start crying, and then whenever you cry, I really feel bad when I cry, especially when people see me crying, because I'm like, it seems like I'm weak. But just the fact that another person that went through the same thing tells you, no, I also cry a lot of times. I remember one of our lecturer in the department told me that I also cried, and when I was crying, someone else, so in fact she was mentioning you, like she said I was crying, and Boy was the one to actually tell me, do this because you went through that before me. So now my role is to tell you it will be fine. So that mentorship things, and that is also one of the things I always tend to tell to the student, you must not be scared about to talk. Anytime about anything. If it's what I can help, I will help. If I can't help, then I can direct you to who can help, whether it's you, the institution. UD actually has a lot of psychiatrists, so many services like to help, and sometimes students, they don't know about that. So whenever they talk, then they may say, okay, I have students who told me I was so good in physics in high school, I don't know what's happening. Now I'm completely lost, you understand? And sometimes they just need that push or that thing to unblock their mind. And then the student ended up performing with such a good marks, and I was like, I hope you're proud of yourself now. Just the fact that she talked, you can easily direct her to the part.
And to round it off for us, Professor Ndezile.
The ladies have spoken.
They have spoken a mouthful.
I feel like saying amen now.
Amen. And we're done.
We are done. But just as the last remarks, what I'd like to say is to really become who you want to be and to become who you are starts with the realization of where you are. So where you are is a springboard, because there are people that are there to assist you. There are things and resources that will be usable to you. So what you need is the awareness of those resources. So I know that it might be a bit complicated, but let me simplify it. To become the person that you want to be starts from this journey of where you are. So if I don't know where I am, I won't know what I need. And once I know where I am, I'll also see the resources that can be usable, because if I want to go higher, I know that I'll need a ladder. But in this room, there's no ladder, but there's a chair. Then I'll step onto a chair because it can still take me somewhere. And once I'm on top of the chair, and then I can see the cupboard is much closer now. And then I can go to on top of the cupboard.
Yeah.
So for me to get there, I must know where I am, and where I am are resources to take me there.
Yeah.
So even with the students' life, it goes like that. I want to be that doctor, but where am I now? I'm at first year level or second year level. Okay, who is here? I have lecturers, I have tutors. Okay, let me utilize them for my benefit, that I can climb the chair at least. Then from there, I'm now at the second year level, so I'm now closer to the third year level, so I can just jump again. I'm getting closer to where I want to be.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much.
And we always quote this woman.
Wisdom coming from her.
I don't know. To a point that when I wanted to speak, I wanted to add something. She said this other day, in order to make a difference, you need to be different yourself. And that's very deep, because you tend to look at yourself, your relationships and everything, like, no, I really need to be set apart, need to be different in order to make a difference. So,
No, thank you so much.
Thank
That was
you.
a
Thank you for having
wonderful
us.
conversation.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate
We
your
enjoyed
time.
ourselves.
You guys must come back again.
Yeah. Next time you pay us.
And with those wise words, that is the end of our conversation for today. Join us again next time for In Conversation.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.